Core Nation. My name is Kendra Cook, and I'm your Senior Real Estate Coach and Director of Sales here. And we are in the middle of doing our Women in Business series with our conversation with Kendra. And it's really about the women who surround the man, if you will. So we have talked to HR, we've talked to Britt Ruby, our CFO and COO. We've talked to Lindsay Sparks. We talked to Rita Casey, and today I have the honor of interviewing one of our newest members that surround Rick, Miss Laura, which is Rick's executive assistant. So Laura, thanks for coming on today. And she's a little camera shy, so I'm going to be very easy on her and not give her any real hard questions, although I know all of you out there have some. So I want to jump in. Actually, Laura worked for me when she first came here. She was one of our level 1 concierge, which is basically, those of you watching, if you're not familiar with the core, our students have a concierge that works with them to get them details that they need, check-in calls, support our trainers and our coaches. And so Laura was really great in that role, so we didn't really want to give her up, but share with the audience today maybe a couple things that you learned early on in that position that you've been able to take over to support Rick as his executive assistant.
Yeah, so I learned a lot being in the level 1 concierge position. I think the biggest thing I took away is owning up to your mistakes. And I think it's just so much better just to get it out there, tell on yourself rather than trying to justify mistakes. If you can show that you can just make a mistake, move on from it, and correct it, I think it builds a lot of trust in the relationship, and I think that can help to move you along better.
Oh, that's great. Eat the elephant one bite at a time, but eat the bad news first thing in the morning. I think a lot of us get something thrown on our plate and it's bad news, or we've got to fess up to something, and we're like, we'll do it after lunch. We'll do it before we go home, and it's eating at you all day. And let me assure you, you are not productive when that is down there in the pit of your stomach or in the back of your mind. So I think that is a great lesson to take away. So I'm sure everybody's watching this like, you worked for Kendra, she's so fun, and now you work for Rick. Like, what are you thinking? I'm just kidding. But what made you jump at that opportunity when it presented itself to go be Rick's right hand? She literally is the gatekeeper. She sits right outside Rick's door. So you got to go through this one to get to that one. So tell us, what made you take that leap?
So initially I didn't. I had a lot of fear of the unknown. No one likes change, and I know I definitely don't. So it was actually a very slow leap. But as everyone knows, Rick is the ultimate salesperson, so he definitely sold me on the position and showed me that kind of my fear was silly and that I should just take the chance. And I'm really glad that I did. I feel like I'm growing a lot, and it's an awesome opportunity. And also, this company has given me a really good support system, from you helping me with the transition, and Rick and Britt and Vanessa being very supportive. So it was an easy transition with everyone behind me.
I love that. One thing that I ask her all the time, how do you take care of somebody who has that much energy? People think I have a lot of energy. Rick has a lot of energy. So how did you manage somebody like that? Because he's going 90 miles a minute all day long,
Yes.
Sometimes making people mad, sometimes making people happy. So on 11, I would put myself at a 10, he's at 11 every day. How do you manage somebody like that?
Honestly, you just have to be adaptable. Sometimes he will come in and he will have some kind of idea in his mind, and he's fired up right thing in the morning, and you just have to learn to match his energy and just help him create whatever vision he has. And we're kind of opposites in that way, that I'm a fairly reserved, calm person. So we balance each other out nicely. But I think that helps because sometimes it gives different viewpoints from the different ideas that he has.
Sure.
So we do come together well.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. And the one thing that I will say about Laura is I was super nervous letting her go because selfishly I loved her on my team. But the thing that scared me the most is you've got to be really strong to deal with myself or Rick, somebody like that has that kind of emotional energy, but also that drive and that compassion. And sometimes we get on a train and we ain't stopping, right? And so he's willing to run right over whatever's in front of it. And sometimes she stands in front of us and says, no, I've seen her say that, or that's not a good idea, Rick, let's rethink that. Before you pick up that phone, let's have another conversation. That takes a very strong little person. And so I know she would not say that she is strong and she is obedient and she is directed, but she is. She has a lot of gifts to be a great support person for somebody like Rick. So I think you're doing a great job over there, and I know Rick does too. Let's talk about one quality, maybe one or two qualities that you think are needed to be a great gatekeeper, because there are people pawing to get on Rick's calendar every single day. And he has his mortgage company, he has the coaching company, he has employees, he has students, he has coaches, he has children, grandchildren, a spouse, friends. So how do you, what's a good quality for a gatekeeper? If somebody's out there thinking, I might want a job like Laura's and work for a top producer, what's something I would need to be a good gatekeeper?
I think that you have to learn to be direct. I think it's good to be firm, but also polite. Not everyone needs to go on his calendar that asks for it, so you have to have the ability to tell them no. So you can always delegate it. That's why we have layers of protection for Rick's schedule, so that if it can be delegated to someone else on the team, it should be before it's escalated. So you kind of just have to play it by ear and see who should make it on there. And sometimes people don't like to hear it, but his time is valuable, so you have to make the best use of it.
Yeah, and she's a great gatekeeper. And I think that comes from asking a lot of questions. Don't be afraid of having the hard conversations. Hey, that is better suited for somebody else on the team, and those kind of conversations. So I think that's great. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself. We've talked a lot about how to manage Rick and your job and everything here, but she is a person outside of here. So tell us a little bit about Laura.
Yeah, so I am a big homebody, so I do a lot of stuff at home. I do like to work out. I go hiking and running with my dog a lot, and my fiance is the same way. So other than that, we like to camp, really anything outdoors. And me and my fiance, we've been together since we were 16, and we get married in November. It's honestly really cool to see the man that he's grown up to be and growing up together, so I'm really excited to see where life takes us.
That's awesome. And she is a college graduate and always taking more classes to get better, and she's always a student, and I think that that's a big asset that you have too, for always being a big support person. All right, so to close us out for today, probably everybody says, you know what, Rick comes across on his videos and he's such a hard butt, and he's always driving and he's talking about discipline and working out and eating a cheese quesadilla on Wednesday night after the gym and being so regimented, and if you ever get a call from Rick and he's mad, you will know he's mad. And so he is kind of a hardcore person, but I think people want to know, is that the real Rick Ruby? Or is there something else behind that Rick Ruby?
It honestly really is. I know that just like everyone else, he can be tired, he can be unmotivated, but I think the thing that separates him from a lot of people is he has a whatever it takes mentality. So it's more of him being disciplined than being motivated. So he knows that he has a lot of people looking up to him that he has to set a good example for. So that's another thing that I have to constantly remind him of, that there are a lot of people looking up to him and that he needs to set the right example.
Wow. How many of you out there just took that away? He's got a fortitude that says, hey, people are looking up to me. So if you're watching this and you're a leader in your organization or even in your home, listen, if there are people relying on you, there are going to be times you don't want to get up out of bed, and there are times you don't want to sit down and pay your bills or do your personal budget. There are times you don't want to go to the ball field or whatever it is that you got to do, work late, solve a problem. But listen, when people rely on you, you don't have a choice to quit on them. You don't have a choice to lay down and make a different decision. You got to rise up. You got to have that fortitude and that gut check with yourself and somebody behind you saying, hey, people are looking up to you. You said you're going to do this. You got to go do it. And then you got to rise up and you got to go perform. I think that is a great way to close this, because we all look at Rick and we're like, he's like the Energizer Bunny. There's no way he works out like that. There's no way he eats a turkey sandwich every Monday. I can tell you, I work beside him 4 days a week. He's that person. Usually if he and I are having a discussion, it's going down the hallway, because one of us is going one way and one of us is going the other way. But I will tell you that he is well respected in this office and in the community, and it takes a great support system to keep him going. And it was an honor to interview you today. I know a lot of people haven't got to meet you yet, but you will meet her at the summit. If you're coming to the summit, or if you ever come for a site visit, you'll get to spend some time with Laura. But thank you so much for your time today, for your honest answers, and I appreciate you and I'm grateful to be with you. Have a great day. Thank you, guys.